Bass resonator here. This week is World Turtle Day. And so I thought I would use my small turtle mold and make a groovy turtle man. And I got these stencils with a peace sign and some of these 60s, the groovy flowers, and I thought I would use that stencil and put something else that was really cool back in the 60s, some neons, and try and dust those in there. Orange, lemon, and green, and then do something really psychedelic, man. Glow in the dark fuchsia. Now you got to understand, those don't go together. But if you grew up in the 60s, those go together. I remember having some socks that were neon color. One was about this color green, and I had an orange pair. And what I liked doing, I would go into elementary school with one green sock and one orange sock on, and I'd pull my pant legs up a little bit. It looked like I had what we called high waters. And yeah, so we're gonna see if we can get a groovy turtle now for Turtle Day. Stay with me. Got out another color, neon red, for the heart. Now I'm going to have to hold these down, and it says use, on the instructions it says use tape, but I don't want to put tape down in these molds and leave possible getting sticky stuff all over them. So I'm going to have to push down with a finger and hold that in place. And then I'm going to use these makeup applicators to dab it in there. I'll try and do one without doing this, because I'm afraid I'm just going to have my hand in front of the camera the whole time, and I don't want to cause problems with my viewership. So let me try the heart. Oh, that's not too bad. I do have a little bit around that edge that I can clean up, and I'll use another little, well, let me show you. Put some alcohol on the end of that, and I'll be able to go in and touch up where that smeared a bit. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So I'm going to try and do these, and all I did was I just held that stencil down with my finger and then dabbed it down with that little makeup applicator, and it's there. Cool. Well, I've got a little bit of cleaning up to do, but I got flowers. Whoa. Why is the light not hitting there? Peace symbol, hearts, 2 flowers, and peace sign. I'm trying to figure out how in the world I can get something up there, but I don't know. I'll keep working on it. Okay, I have some of the patterns marked in there, but I don't have them all finished. But I did find something for his head. I have this little flower, and it was one that was on a charm, and I cut off the little hoop on it and put in some UV resin. So I'm going to stick that in his head. And I've got some eyes, and I'm going to stick the eyes in first. And I have marked on the back of them a little line. Hopefully you can see that. It's in line with the toothpick. And that's showing the direction of the iris. And I want him to be a reptile, because a turtle is a reptile. So I got to go in here, put a little bit of that resin, Now let me just check. I have to get that has to slide down into the slot where the eye is. And this is awfully difficult for me to see, and probably for you as well. Okay, right now I got him as an amphibian because it's going side to side. Oy, 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 stay in there. Okay, turn. To every season, turn, turn, turn. There we go. I don't know if you can see that down in there. Hopefully. Now. And then to go from the back side. From the outside, this is a translucent mold, so I'll be able to cure it from both sides. That should hold it in place. Should. Better. Please stay in place. Okay, now to do the other side. Get that UV resin down in there. And get the eye. Eye of the tiger, eye of the turtle. Same amount of syllables. You see it in there? Hopefully, hopefully, hopefully. You're not going to be able to see that, but as soon as I get this out of the way, you should be able to see it. Now hopefully those are held in place. Can you see them in there? I can't tell because I'm not able to see through the... Now this should be loads of fun. Put a big dollop of UV resin in there. Dollop. How often do you get to use that when you're talking about resin? Now I'm going to put this down this way first. And slide him forthwith. Get in there. Try and get this in the way that so the camera can see what's going on. Okay, now and as I was doing these things off camera, I started thinking about that peace symbol, and it's not going to make that much sense. You might, but I'm thinking I need to go through that peace symbol. Okay, that should be enough time on there to go through the peace. There's a shadow going on. The peace symbol itself, I think I need to highlight that with one of the other colors, the red maybe, so that it can be seen. So Let me do a little bit of cleaning up. I've got something blocking the light. It helps a little bit. Okay. And get some alcohol on this little. Now this flower needs to be cleaned up. Peace symbol. Also, well, that flower's got a little bit more to go. I'll come back in with another one in just a bit to help clean up all that extra. And on these reds, that one's doing okay, but some splattered up against the wall of the flipper. I don't know if any of you remember that show of the Atlantic porpoise, or what most people call a dolphin. And Flipper was a trained mammal that helped people on their excursions undersea. And whenever they'd have the theme song, call him Flipper, and then you hear that. Well, I can't make a flipper sound a porpoise sound very well. Okay, I'm going to continue cleaning this up. I'll get right back. Okay, I've cleaned that up. Now I'm going to try and touch up that spot that I was telling you on the. Let me get a little bit more red on this. Don't need much, but I want to have a little bit to where it'll leave a mark. Now the cool thing about putting mica down on a silicone mold, whatever touched the mold first will be seen from the outside. So even though I went over that a little bit with the red, the green still has prominence as far as first place. So now to decide whether I should put anything more around the edges. Shall I go with a little bit of clear over that and then let me stop the camera while I think. Okay, what I have decided is I'm going to fill up the head with a little bit more UV resin. Goodness, stay there. Stay. I just had it balanced, wouldn't you know? Okay, there. I was going to clean up this UV nozzle. And why do I want to do that? I want to make sure that the top part of his head is clear. Yeah, there's a little bit ran. Let me get it. I want that clear over that little gemstone type thing that I put in there for his decorate his forehead. So ooh, I still got some cleaning up to do. Look at all of that mess. That little thing out the way, and then come at this from the side. Since the bottom is already set in place, and look at that, that's pretty funny too. Decorative. Can't see it so much on its own. I don't mind the glow in the dark coming in under the chin, but I wanted that forehead to be clear so that that charm can be seen very well. Okay, now I have got a baby wipe here, and I saw a whole bunch color where it should not have been. Now, it's not going to show up if you can't see that so much with the naked eye. It's probably not going to show up too much, but still, I'd like to get it as clean as possible. Where's that? Let's see. A little bit on those sides. Okay. Here by this flipper. I thought I cleaned those. Oh, I cleaned the other one. Okay, now let's see. Much better. There's a little bit more I gotta do on that side. This side, well, except for under this lip. Oh, right behind this. The sign for victory, but it was also the peace symbol using by the hand. By the hand, take me by the hand, pretty mama, and dance with your daddy all night long. Almost anything can set me off with a song. That's okay to highlight that. A little bit. Okay. Not too bad. Now, got the head, forehead clear. And you can see it's clear up to clear up to there. Let's see if I can get that color off this mat. It'll come off when I wash it with big wipes. Steve McDonald talked about those, and I got some, and sure enough, they do work wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to mix up some resin. You know what? I am going to go a little bit clear. One of the things with glow-in-the-dark powder is it is heavy. It is not like a regular mica that stays floating throughout the mica for the duration. It sinks. So if I put this in all the way, it'll sink all the way to the bottom, which is fine, but then it won't. You see my dilemma? If I put it in, it's going to sink down there, and you'll be able to see some possibly. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and mix it all up. I'll be back after I mix up the resin. You saw my thought process. Now, I've stirred up most of this, but I have talked about in another video how the glow-in-the-dark powder, I'm not pushing hard on the cup. It has a grainy, gravelly, sandy feel, and it sounds like it too. It's really strange. It works, which is kind of fun, but I wanted you to be ears to that in case you have not used glow-in-the-dark powder before, and if you get some and you're like, whoa, what is wrong with this stuff? There's nothing wrong with it. It's just different. Okay, so I have stirred this for over 4 minutes. This is the Naked Fusion Art Resin, the new formula. And this is the first, well, this is my first bottle of this Naked Fusion stuff, and so far so good, but I don't know. I haven't been in resin for very long, just a little over a year, and I had never heard of Naked Fusion, so I thought I'd give it a try. It was at a decent price, and so I went for it. Okay, so I mixed up 3 ounces, 1.4 ounces of part B and 1.4 ounces of part B and 1.6 ounces of part A. Part A weighs more, so, but it would, by volume, it would come out the same. So it's kind of crazy the way that works, but okay, so I'm going to pour in slowly so that I don't interrupt too much of that neon mica that's in place. Now this is not a deep pour, so I'm not going to fill this all the way up. I would need a different resin for that. But this is taking this right up to, and I'll show you, it's taking it up right to the bottom part of this mold. This mold has a little cap or a little ridgy where the shell overlaps, and it, if I can scrape more out of there and get it all the way up into that, that would be so nice. Now I don't have a problem with scraping it off the sides because when I stirred this up, I was scraping the sides constantly. Just a little short. Thought I might be able to get it. I'll bring you down to show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, just a second. Get this. Okay, let me put you on pause. You see how right under this edge right here, I was trying to get it to go all the way up into there so that it would cover the whole top of the shell, but it didn't make it all the way. Now there's quite a few bubbles. I will spritz it with some alcohol because this is I don't care about what's seen, because sometimes alcohol will leave a little film, but I'm going to have another layer of resin of color on top of that, so it's not going to matter. So a little spritz. Spritz with Fritz. Fritz. I don't know if you can see it. Sparkly, sparkly. Whee! Okay, so I'm going to let that cure. And then I'm going to come in and get this. I'm going to use a different color of glow in the dark. Remember how I told you I used to wear different color socks? Well, that's what's going to happen here. Don't know what color I'm going to use. I'm going to go through there and get crazy with it. Get jiggy with it. Yeah, so come back at you later on. Next layer and last layer is going to be this yellow glow in the dark. And I mixed up the resin in a smaller cup because I don't need as much. Now I'm going to start off tilting this a little bit so that I can make sure we get some in that tail area without it forming a bubble in there. Can't have a bubble butt, you know. Sorry about that. This thing is gonna glow. Okay, we got any air bubbles in there, hopefully figured out. Same in here. Before I fill it up all the way, I'm pushing any air bubbles. If I try to do that when it's full, I will have one big mess. Now, I don't know why it is, but when I first got this mold, I could fill it up and the back flippers would fill up at the same time as the front ones, but now it seems like they're leaning in a bit. I wish I had a... Is that the right? No, it's the wrong size. Wish I had something that I could stick underneath there to hold those up a little bit better. Don't want them flipping out. What can I use to prop those puppies up? I think I'm pretty set in there. Checking that tail area. See, this mold is made, I can't really squeeze that tail to make sure that the bubbles are all out. The head is, but if I get it too full like it is right now and I squeeze on it, going to overflow off the top front flippers. Hey. No. Not the right shape. Get those bubbles to come off. Well, it's going to fill up enough. Ooh, look at that, look at that. Turn out this light and watch what happens. Wow! And underneath, it's that magenta, which almost looks like a red when I mixed it up. Yeah, that'll glow. Good. So, I'll come back to you for the unmolding. Hopefully we don't have... Oh man, look at that. I had this bumped. Bummer. Well, now can you see what it is? These flippers are the things that concern me. I don't want them. And if I put a popsicle stick or something underneath them, it's going to be too much. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to invest in another one, because when it came new, those were sticking up really nicely. Anyway, see you for the unmolding. Okay, all cured up. Let me see if I can get this out without bumping the tripod. Hey, there is no bubble on the tail. Yay. Don't go back on there. His little crown. His eyes are correct. Ooh, got a little bit of overpour. Get that out of the way. That's a little difficult to see, and the ones on the back too. Bummer. I was hoping to have a better showing on that. But let me pull my turn that light off. Sort of see the peace sign, sort of see the flowers, but not enough. I can definitely see the hearts, sort of see the peace hand sign. Can definitely see the flowers and the peace sign when I go over them with the black light. Oh, look, he's got a little bit of that UV resin right on the crown of his shell right there. Well, World Turtle Day. You got your Groovy Turtle, man. Thank you for all my subs. I am quickly approaching 1,000. I mean, I was I think 19 away last time I checked. I really appreciate all of those subscribers. When I get to 1,000, when we get to 1,000, I'm gonna do something special, and you can look into the comments on my page and of my YouTube page and look at the details of the special. Thank you to those who have bought me a coffee. I really appreciate it. Yeah. May be able to go over and touch up some of these. They're not decals, but the flowers and the peace sign with some acrylic paint or something to just bring it out even more. I'll think about doing that. But in the meantime, we have this Groovy Turtle, man. Well, I couldn't just leave him as he was. I could hardly see those flowers and the peace signs, and so I went around them with a little bit of acrylic paint. At least they're more visible now. Yeah, cool. Now we're done.